Давай, давай, давай.
Okay, for the sound.
У меня только для Apple. И вот такие вот, у тебя есть USB, то у меня вот такой есть. Ну, сбор. Давай выше. Сейчас, подожди, она. Так. Сейчас, окей. Okay, guys, it looks like it's 11 o'clock, 11:01, and we're here with Andrey. We're just waiting for some of the people to join us here. How you doing, Andrey?
Doing great. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you perfectly. So why don't you, we'll just introduce yourself, who you are, what you do, and okay, guys, it looks like it's 11 o'clock, 11:01, and we're here with Andrey. We're just waiting for some of the people to join us. So what your company is all about? So why don't you tell us what your company is all about and what you do?
Sure. Yeah, so I'm the CEO of Flipt, and Flipt is a technology that connects real estate agents and brokers with local home sellers. We worked to build this technology for the last 5 years. Previously, I'm a broker with some technology background. Before being a real estate broker owner in Seattle, I worked for Microsoft. I went to University of Washington, studied computer science and applied mathematics and business. And so I started my brokerage, and I saw a problem that I wanted to solve for myself.
It's like that, right? Whenever you see a problem that could be solved, make the world a little bit of a better place to live, right?
Exactly. Well, so I've been spending tens of thousands of dollars in marketing, trying to grow my business. I had about 10 agents in my team back then in 2009, and it was the worst year in real estate. And every single source where we would spend the money, like we would send postcards, we would advertise with Zillow. Zillow just was 2-3 years old back then. We would advertise with Market Leader and a whole bunch of different sources. And most of the sources would just not give us the quality of the advertising that we wanted to do. Most of these tools will give us very few leads, and most of those leads would be buyer leads. And so we were looking for ways, how can we do this better? We live in a new age, with new technology, social media available, so much data available now. So how can we use the data to maybe advertise better and to advertise to people who are likely to sell?
So basically, usually people, what agents do, they're going after for sale by owners, FSBOs, they go after expireds, they go do some door knocking, they do postcards, right?
Correct.
That's really the typical route any listing agent who wants to basically build a listing pipeline usually take. They, start out with calling expireds, FSBOs, door knocking, postcards, sphere of influence. What are the challenges usually those people face, in your opinion, who actually go after the expireds or for sale by owners?
Yeah, well, it's obviously competition, right? So those leads you can get for free. Yeah, and there are 50, 100 agents in your zip code, in your area, that are doing the same thing. So if you are calling feasible, so are 50 other agents doing the same thing. Those leads are really hard to get a hold, very hard to convert, and you work really hard for most of the time nothing. And there are better ways now. There are better ways how you can generate better quality leads that nobody else have called. There are also tools, there are methods that you can use to connect with the sellers before anyone else, before your competition.
Well, and you say connecting with possible sellers before anybody else. That sounds like too good to be true, right? Because I mean, how are you going to find out about those people who haven't even talked to anybody yet? So that's oh, okay. You're already sharing your screen. I like that.
Yeah, I'm starting to share something with you, but yeah, so yeah, that's something that we have spent almost 5 years of figuring out is how do you actually predict the home selling status and how do you actually connect with those people before your competition. So what we did, we actually figured out like, well, who are those people who are going to sell their homes? And most of the time, people sell their homes because they are entering in some kind of life-changing event.
Yeah.
So if it's a person who is reaching a certain age or family that is reaching a certain age, they simply cannot afford the house anymore. They cannot maintain the house anymore, so they consider moving to retirement. So retirees, that's one of the kind of key signals that we try to identify, and going after those wealthier sellers who actually are moving to retirement. That's where we started. Then we started to look for more different signals that we could kind of identify and find online. And there were people like their kids' age, if they have kids, and they're likely to sell their home if their kids are graduating. So they're called empty nesters. So this is the next kind of signal that we worked on to add. We also were looking for anyone who is visiting moving websites, Home Depots, doing some remodeling to their homes.
Oh, that's
those are people who are much likely to sell as well, because they might be in the consideration to selling, like they're buying paints or something.
You kind of like analyze consumer behavior in an essence, and based on the consumer behavior that you observed, you make determination that possibly that person could be a good candidate for selling their house, right?
Exactly.
And
So
what your company does, they put those agents who are members of your platform in front of those consumers, right?
correct. Yeah. So what we do, we our technology actually is doing it better than a human being could. So it actually goes online and places real estate advertisement every day, and it optimizes the bidding settings so they actually can show the ads to this group of homeowners in a particular zip code. And every day it goes and checks how this ad is doing. So it's doing something that like humans don't do. Like you probably, even if you have a marketing manager managing your ads, your manager probably doesn't go daily to update your bid settings. And that's what the beauty of the technology. Some things that technology can do, it actually is doing better than humans, and advertisement is one of those things.
And by the way, let me interrupt you very quick. We have several attendees right now here, so I just wanted to remind you guys, if you have any questions, please feel free to type them, and I'm going to read them to Andrey. Type them in the chat room right here that we have, and we'll be more than happy to answer them live if you hear listening. So go ahead, Andrey.
Yeah, sure. Well, so where I left it is pretty much, yeah. So our solution is been very effective in connecting with sellers.
Okay.
We now have data from about 240,000 home owners or home sellers that we connected with real estate agents, and we can tell you a lot about. We know more about sellers than probably anyone else right now in the market.
I have a question here from
Sure.
Victor Kutsevich is asking. So is this very similar to Remini? I have no idea what Remini is, but could you tell me?
Yeah, I haven't heard of Remini. I know that obviously there are other tools that are doing something in the same field because the problem is so big and so severe. There are obviously other solutions that are going and offer you some advertising technology to potential sellers or seller lead generation. So Flipt is a unique technology. It's our own build from scratch tool that is using our own unique settings, and our technology has multiple differentiators. So one of the things that we do differently is actually is targeting to empty nesters, retirees, and likely movers. So that's our own know-how, our own technology. That's it's very hard to replicate. The data that we aggregated from those owners that allowed us to improve the technology, that's what is unique. The quality, the people that you're going to be connecting with, it's not going to be the same people, the same prospects as you would get from other sources. If you advertise yourself on Facebook, you will not connect with the same people like through Facebook on Flipt.
So,
In Flipt,
so
no,
Flipt is
yeah.
actually more advanced than a Facebook in essence, right?
Well, in a way, it is a more targeted. It's more targeted Facebook, and it's broader than Facebook. So our network goes beyond just Facebook. Like if somebody is a homeowner who is going through a life-changing event, they might see Flipt launched ad as well. But we go beyond just Facebook. It goes to about 4 million mobile apps that
Что-то он пропал. Окей, где он у меня-то? Он-то говорит. Где? Вот он. Подвис что-то, что ли? Что он у меня подвис? Подвис он у меня. Сука, подвис. Что ж ты меня заебал? Андрюх, нам нужно рестарт сделать. Видео got disconnected. Блядский рот, сейчас будем.